listening to the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast, a podcast in sisterhood for female entrepreneurs that serves up savvy, actionable marketing advice and interviews with creative business owners who are in the trenches, building their businesses as we speak. The Marketing in Yoga Pants community is for you, the girl on her couch, in her yoga pants, top knot tight, hunched over her MacBook, trying her hardest to get the word out about her business. So in the name of supporting each other while supporting ourselves, bringing community, sound marketing advice, coffee, chocolate, and wine together for you, yoga pants wearing business owner, in a world where followers mean nothing, but paying customers mean the world, join us on this week's podcast episode and in our private Facebook group where you'll meet your soul sisters and build your business in yoga pants. Welcome back to another episode of the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast. I'm Britt Colo, and I'm here today with Krista Rae, strategic WordPress developer and founder of KristaRae.co. Thank you so much for joining me today, Krista.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
Yeah, so Krista and I just met. She reached out to me a couple weeks ago saying, hey, I think we should know each other. And she was totally right. But this is really the first conversation we're having right here on the podcast to get to know each other. So I'm really pumped for you all to listen into this. We're going to get to chat about her business, her industry, her marketing strategy, of course, and what makes it all tick. So, Krista, you ready to jump in?
I am ready.
All right, let's do this. So, first of all, Krista, tell us all, how do you earn your living?
Yeah, I love this question. I love how you position this. There's a couple different things I do. My main business, like you said, is KristaRae.co, and there I do WordPress development and design strategy. So I partner with designers. They send me their website mockups, and I code them and bring them to life. So that's my biggest portion of income. I also have a couple digital products related to strategic development. Or strategic design. So I'm teaching designers how to make their designs matter and help their clients actually, not just look pretty. I also have a theme shop that I co-own with one of my good friends. So we sell WordPress themes and get a couple clients through there too. But those are the three big ones.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're really working mostly with designers and not necessarily clients looking for websites, like a little in-between middle person.
Exactly.
There. Oh, I like that. That's an interesting take.
Yes, and I love that.
Yeah, I can imagine that the communication ways, just everything probably is just a little bit easier on your end when you're speaking to a designer who kind of knows the lingo and knows what's going on.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's exactly how I discovered it too. I was working with a coach August 2017, and one of the exercises she had me do was write down my favorite 3 clients I have ever had and why I loved them. And 2 of the 3 were designers. And the things I listed were they valued what I did. They didn't complain about my prices. It was so easy, like they got it. I didn't have to try to, I'm bad at design, so it was nice to have them be like, make it look just like this. I was like, got it. So like that just like opened my eyes. I was like, oh my gosh, why am I not just working with these people? So it's been so fun and nice and fun and convenient and everything. I love it.
Oh, that's so good. Okay. So take us back. Tell us the story of how you came to do this with your life.
Yeah. So in college, I got degrees in computer science and software development and stuff like that. And from there, I jumped straight into a corporate software development job, and they transitioned me to web development pretty quickly. And I loved it for a long time. But I think, I don't know, something that a lot of people in the corporate world experience is that just more and more things start bugging you. It's like, it's dumb that we're doing it this way. This is frustrating. I don't want to leave my house today. And then along with that, being in the tech field was really hard for me. I was the only female on a team of 17 people, and I was the youngest. So that brought like a whole new set of challenges. A lot of guys on the team were really young and really, I don't know, immature. And there were just a lot of uncomfortable situations that at first I was able to laugh at. But as time went on, I was like, no, this isn't funny. This is, I don't want to be in this situation. And around that same time, I had started getting into the world of blogging, and I started a craft blog because that's what I thought you were supposed to do. And luckily that died real fast. And then I started a blog on being a woman in the tech industry and kind of targeted towards other females trying to do that and how they can succeed and get over all these hurdles and stuff like that. And then I was like, well, I hate this. So like, why am I blogging about something I hate? And then luckily I kind of opened my eyes to everything. And through those two blogs, I saw that there were people, women like me making a living doing like design and development and making websites. And I was like, well, this is what I'm doing at my corporate job. Why can't I just do this on my own? So that's what I did. I started KristaRae.co in September 2015, and I was doing design and development. Luckily, I figured out really fast that I'm awful at design, and I cut back to just development and was kind of helping just any online business owner make tweaks to their website and stuff like that. It was a lot of smaller projects because I couldn't do design. And like we talked about earlier, I eventually made the transition into working with designers, and it's been wonderful. And here I am.
Amazing. Okay, so take me back to when you first started in 2015. How did you begin to get clients and earn your first dollar?
Yeah, the first client I got came from Pinterest. I actually reached out to this big influencer about joining her group board, and she must have checked out my website through that email. And she was like, of course, here, join this group board. And by the way, do you have any availability to help me with some website tweaks? And I did, and it was awesome. And since she was a big influencer, I got my second and third clients both came directly from her. So worked out well. It was a nice little coincidence there.
Oh, I like it. So, that makes me so excited because I think we all try to overcomplicate things, and that first dollar or your next dollar could be right there. It could be right there in a simple ask, and having, your welcome mat down basically and your door wide open for someone to click over to your website and just see what you do. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. So you got your next couple of clients through that connection. Take me through the next kind of wave of figuring out, all right, development is my thing, but if it's my thing, I can only do these small thing, like one-off kind of fixes and tweaks. Take me through the transition of going from that to partnering with designers. What did that look like?
Okay. Yeah, so my big pain points with doing the tweaks for people was that I needed to have so many clients per month to make the income I wanted. I was having to do maybe working with 10 to 15 different clients per month just on these small $50 to $200 website updates. And it was exhausting. I hated my inbox. I hated dealing with all these clients.
Yeah.
And so when I got this idea of starting to work towards designers, I kind of jumped into it right away. I was terrified because it was like, okay, I need to change all of my marketing, all my content, my website needs to change, my services need to change, absolutely everything. And what if this doesn't work? Like, what if no designers come running? I've scared away all these other people I used to work with, and then I'm left with nothing. So that definitely crossed my mind, but I just went for it anyway because I knew that's just what needed to happen. And luckily it worked. Right away, people kind of started rolling in one by one, and I went from having to take 10 to 20 clients per month to 1.5 per month.
Ooh.
And, that's easy. I can do that, right? If I can book one client per month, I'm good. So that was really, really nice, changing my content. There was only one other developer I knew of at the time who was marketing to designers. So the two of us stuck out. And there were a lot of referrals being passed around, and, word of mouth spread really quickly. And the content I was able to write, and I'm still writing to show those people why it's beneficial to work with a developer, have just been great and made it, I don't want to say easy, but it wasn't a disaster like I was worried about. It worked out.
Yeah, it seems like a very natural fit for you. So how did you begin? Of course, you go through your own stuff and audit your current brand to make it speak better to your new ideal client. But how did you begin to drum up the attention and then find those designer clients that you were looking for?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who my first couple designer clients were here. So one of them just happened to be actually the person I founded my second business with. So that was convenient. And I think I had been blogging really consistently all throughout my first year. I had I don't want to say big, but I had a loyal, decently sized email list and blog following. My Pinterest traffic coming from Pinterest was great. So when I made that transition, I already had quite a few designers in my audience. So I think that definitely helped a lot. And then from there, it was seriously just word of mouth was insane. If there was a designer in a Facebook group looking for someone to help with tech stuff, there were, 5 people in there yelling my name.
Yeah.
So that just made it, I think just the fact that I was so niched down and it was unique at the time. It's not as unique anymore as other developers are starting to catch on, but I think that just made it a lot easier than it would have been otherwise.
Well, and I know when I started Jam Marketing Group, I started it thinking it was going to be an agency. And one of those services that I was going to provide was website design and development. And I knew from the get-go, I'm good with the design, but the whole development thing, not my game. And so I searched for, I didn't have to look very far, but I searched for someone to be my right-hand girl to do the developing and fixing of things, the things that I break. And that was such a asset, and we did a couple projects together, but then I figured out, I don't want to do that. This is not really what I want to do. I want to do the coaching. And so I transitioned. But you're totally right. I mean, the stuff that you do, the developing for designers, there's a huge market out there for that. And I'm excited that you found that out and aligned. It sounded like your interests and your skill set was really aligned with that from the beginning. It was just a matter of discovering it. And
exactly.
That out. Cool.
Yes.
Okay. And so now, when did you transition? Give me a timeline. When did you transition over to working and focusing mostly on just working with designers?
That was August 2016.
Okay, so just over a year. So you've been working this for just over a year. Okay. What are you doing currently? Where are you finding your biggest bang for your buck in attracting these designers and working really well with them?
Yeah, I think my biggest thing is making the clients I have really, really, really happy. Because there are so many communities out there. I feel like designers, they just kind of stick together. Like all the designers I know, they follow a ton of other designers. There's lots of communities just for designers. And so if I can make the clients I have absolutely thrilled, I'm set, they're out there talking to each other, recommending me, things like that. It just kind of comes up naturally. But other than those referrals, content marketing is just huge. I publish really, really targeted blog posts every other week. At least one of them a month is specifically about collaborating with a developer, things from how does it work, mistakes, how to work it into your pricing, stuff like that. And then I also have a podcast I co-host with a designer for designers, where we publish weekly episodes, and at least one of those a month is also about working with a developer. I've launched a course on it, or we call it a toolkit. It's just everything I put out. I try to just really highlight the benefits of, hey, you guys hate development because most of them do. You don't have to do it. So why are you still doing it? Here I am. Here's the benefits. Here's how it all works.
Right.
Let's give it a try, So that's been great.
Solid. Okay, so word of mouth referrals, making your current clients happy, and supporting it with content. So when those questions come up, how does this actually work? You have a blog post about it, or several that make it, okay, this chick really knows what she's doing. Okay, phenomenal. So good. I hope you guys, listeners, hope you're taking down notes because this is textbook. This is good. Okay.
Love it.
Let's talk about what you're working on right now. Here at the beginning of the year, where's your focus at?
Yeah, so actually I'm preparing for maternity leave is my main focus. I have a little one due on January 21st. So no clients, no nothing. I'm just getting my business ready for a couple months off. So not overly exciting. I also, when I come back, actually the month I come back from maternity leave, I'm hosting my first summit. So when I have time, outside the prepping, I'm getting everything ready for that summit.
Wow. Okay. So I have to take an aside and talk about this. What have you done to prepare your business for maternity leave? I'm sure there's a million things, but What did you do? I would love to know.
Yeah, I'll try to touch on like the three biggest things. The
Yeah.
first one, because that's the one that had me freaked out the most, was preparing my income. Because we run our own businesses. When we're gone, we're gone. Like I
Yeah.
have some recurring income, but it wouldn't be enough to support us by any means.
Mhm.
So the first thing I did was start building my savings account and making sure that, okay, let's figure 4 months of no income. The two that I'm taking, 1.5 I'm taking off. I'm not going to accept any clients, in January because she could come anytime. And let's just assume that, the month before and after are going to be slow. So every month I've been making sure, watch my expenses, build up that savings account so I can pay myself no matter what happens.
Mhm.
That is like the big peace of mind thing that I needed. So it's not so much prep in that regard, but it's just like, okay, I'm not going to die basically.
Right.
Second was making a playbook for my business. So all of my systems are step-by-step outlined in a Google site. I don't know, it's Google Sites. I don't know, I guess what it's called. But so I have a VA, a designer, and then someone I brought on for kind of a little development help if one of my clients have issues. They all have access to this, and all of my systems are outlined in there so they know exactly what to do. And then I've made special systems for while I'm away. So my VA, she's going to be handling my inbox ongoing now, but it's like, okay, here's a special section while I'm on maternity leave. This is how it's different. So, make sure you check this out. And my designer has a few extra things she's going to be doing while I'm gone. So getting all of that outlined took forever, but it's so nice to know that I'm not going to have to be worrying about checking my email all the time because they got it under control. They know what they're doing. So that has been huge. And then third is content. So I have my own blog. I publish posts every other week. For the podcast, my co-host and I switch off responsibilities every other week. So I have show notes that have to go out every other week there. And then for our theme shop, we each switch back and forth every other week. So I have 3 blogs that I needed content for to be done and ready to go while I was gone. And so that was my second big one. Every Thursday morning, since I found out that I was expecting, I set aside that time just to knock out content. And right now I'm done through June for 2 of them and May for the other one. So I'm sitting pretty good there. But that was another big thing that stressed me out. So I think what I did was I just thought of the big pieces that were freaking me out that I knew would be problems. And I just broke down what I had to do in the, 8-9 months I had to prepare to get that done and made the time for it.
Yes. I like it. I know why you're a strategic WordPress developer because you're strategic about this, and I really appreciate that. That's how my mind works as well. And I just have to kind of sing your praises for doing that. And you're sitting here 2 months until baby's due, and just like you said, who knows when she'll come, but 2 months from when she's due at the time of this recording, and you don't seem very stressed about it. I mean,
I'm pretty ready. Yeah,
that's crazy. Can you imagine what life would look like if you were still in your corporate job? Does that make you does that make your stomach just turn?
It just makes me sad. Like I would feel pressured to get back in there. I wouldn't be able to, afternoons when I'm exhausted, just go take a nap or chill on the couch. I'd be having to still impress people, and it just makes me sad to think about it.
I know. Oh man. I mean, it's doable, and I appreciate every woman that ever has to do that. But I'm so happy that you're sitting here and you're like, okay, I'm ready. I'm set. I've done my homework. I've batched things. I've gotten it ready. It's so good to see that. It's encouraging. I think probably for everybody listening, it's probably a huge encouragement. So thank you for that.
Good. I hope so.
Yeah. So I'm interested to know, especially with baby on the way, what inspires you in your work?
So here comes more of the strategic thing. Literally, the thing that inspires me most is being able to check a task off my list. Like if I can start the day with a quick win, I'm inspired for the rest of the day. Because to me, that is the best feeling. I don't need to go out anywhere or travel or look at other people's work or go on Pinterest. I just need to get something done. And then I am set and ready to go.
Where do you manage your tasks? Is it on paper, online?
Trello. Me and Trello are best friends. If something is not in Trello, it does not exist in my life. I don't know what I would do without it.
That's so funny. Longtime listeners probably are like, wow, did she just pull that line from Brittany's book? I always say if it doesn't exist in Asana, it doesn't exist. Like it does not exist in the world. And Trello is such a complementary system there. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned that you have a few people on your team, and we could dive into, how you found them and all that. But what I'm more interested in is, what kind of professional are you interested in hiring next? Have you thought about that?
I have, and there are two types of people on my wish list. First is an assistant developer that I bring on all the time. So I have someone that I've worked with before that I'm having just for maternity leave, but being able to have someone like that all the time for smaller tasks, or when a non-designer client comes in and wants me to do work, to be able to hand that off to them, just sounds wonderful. I tried it a little bit at the beginning of 2017, and I actually found that it was way more stressful than I was expecting to manage assistant developers. I had 3 of them, and maybe that was my problem. I should have started with 1. But I'd like to try it again in a more organized manner. So that will probably be happening in 2018 sometime. But other than that, if I didn't end up doing that, or maybe even if I do, someone to handle client management, because my inbox and managing clients stresses me out more than anything. So to be able to hand that off to someone else so I can just sit and do the work when I do have time to work would be heaven. So one of those.
And it sounds like you're on the path to being able to make those hires. And they're kind of, in my mind, they're kind of next level, because it's very much having your own system and process first, tweaking it, handing it off to somebody, especially with this maternity leave, handing those things off for a short amount of time, seeing what worked, seeing what didn't, and then moving on and being able to make that next level hire. So how did you sit down to prepare for your maternity leave with those workflows? You said it kind of took you some time. How did you do that? And how did you structure it?
Yeah, I started, the first thing I did was open a Google Doc and literally just brain dump all of the things that I ever do, just to think about, okay, I write blog posts, I answer emails, I schedule social media, this is how I onboard clients, offboard clients, send invoices, do my monthly maintenance updates for clients, everything I could think of, I wrote down. And then I kind of did my best to organize it into sections, my offerings, inbox, marketing, stuff like that. And then I just went through, I set aside 2 hours every Friday to just knock out as many as I could in that time. So, or if I was doing that task throughout the week, I'd go ahead and document it as I was doing it. But a lot of times it just happened on Friday, because when I'm doing it, I'm I just want to do it. I don't want to have to sit and write down what I'm doing. But having that dedicated time and that list was really helpful. If I wouldn't have had that list, I think it would have been more overwhelming than anything. Being able to get all the ideas out, organize them, and then just take it one by one was really, really helpful.
Again, so strategic. I love it. I think we might share a little bit of the same brain, because it's brain dump everything, just get it out of your head, organize, and then figure out how you'll attack, and not attack all in one day. Although, do you feel once you get things organized, you're now I can do it all, and then you get a little overwhelmed and you're no, actually, I'm going to do it every Friday. Yeah, you think, that's totally how I am.
Yeah. I could just do this for my whole life. Who needs sleep?
Right? Yeah. And then it gets to 9 p.m. You're oh,
yes,
I need sleep.
I do. Hello.
Yep. Okay. All right. So you're a strategic business owner, and I can bet you have done a lot of learning to get to the place you are right now. So if someone wanted to learn more about strategic business development, growth, what books or podcasts would you recommend? What have you read? What have you plugged into to get you to where you are today?
Yeah, so I will say I do not read business books. I just get too bored and I can't. But the podcast that I think has helped me the most get to this point, I haven't listened to it for a long time, but I totally binged for months, is The Fizzle Show. And they talk about all kinds of things, but they're so strategic and thoughtful and experienced that I just for a few months, I was just constantly listening to that, taking notes, applying it. it's amazing. I would definitely recommend people listen to that one if they want some of that kind of stuff.
I agree. I recommend the Fizzle Show as well. I've always enjoyed, I used to listen to them way back when I didn't have my business. They were one of the first groups of people that I was still in corporate, but I just plugged into them. Back then, they always released an episode on Fridays, so they had their Fizzle Fridays. Always listened to it at the gym. And I just love how exploratory they are with everything, because there's 3 of them.
Yes.
And they all have different perspectives. And yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. Definitely go listen to the Fizzle Show. Okay, so one last question we've got to end with. I would love for you to look back and tell us, what advice would you give to yourself when you were first starting your business? That girl on her couch, hunched over her MacBook, trying to figure all of this out. What would you say to her?
I would say to talk to people and stop being scared of what they'll think, because I think something that held me back the first couple months is that I was in my bubble. I did not talk to anybody. I mean, there were no collaborations or connections whatsoever because I was scared. I was like, I don't want to reach out and bother this person, or what if they don't like me, or I'm too new, But the second I started, it instantly started paying off. I did a blog post where I featured a few other bloggers who were farther ahead than me. One of them reached out for me to join a mastermind, and it was things exploded from there. So biggest thing, stop being afraid and talk to people if you are currently a little afraid and intimidated by it.
It's so good. It's so good. I love it. I agree. Okay. Before we go, could you please tell the listeners where they can find you online?
Sure. My main website is KristaRae.co, and I am on all social media platforms at Hey Krista Rae. And then the theme shop I mentioned a couple times is CodedCreative.co.
Perfect. All right. You heard her, girls. Go check her out. Send her some love, and then hop into our private Facebook group to hear even more from Krista over the next few days. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast. Keep the conversation going by visiting marketinganyogapants.com/Facebook, where you'll get to join that private Facebook group I've been talking so much about. There, you'll get to chat with our podcast guests. Yeah, they're in there too, and all of the other brilliant creative business owners. We're connecting, we're meeting our soul sisters, and we're building our businesses, all while in yoga pants. So come hang out with us. Again, visit marketinganyogapants.com/Facebook to get in. And one more thing. If you dig this podcast, would you be awesome and share it with someone? This entire Marketing in Yoga Pants movement is nothing without its community. So please share. And if you're really feeling the love right now, jump into iTunes. You're probably already there if you're listening to this right now. And leave us a rating and review. The more of those we rack up, the more the podcast will be found by ladies like you, and the stronger this community becomes. This episode was edited and produced by the Podcast Engineers. They're pretty great, so go find them at podcastengineers.com. This episode was also brought to you by my online marketing agency, Jam Marketing Group, and you can find us at jammarketinggroup.co. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you back here next week on the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast. Love ya. Bye.